Rebecca Hayes had always believed in second chances and the power of trust. After 7 years of marriage to Nathan, a charming senior marketing executive at Meridian Technologies, she thought she'd built the kind of life other people envied. Their apartment overlooked the city skyline. Their friends called them couple goals, and every Friday night, they still had date nights where Nathan would pull her close and whisper that she was the only woman who'd ever truly understood him. Her best friend since college, Vanessa Park, was woven into the fabric of their lives. Vanessa had been Rebecca's maid of honor, had held her hand through 2 miscarriages, and could always make her laugh when the world felt heavy. The three of them often spent weekends together, brunches that stretched into dinner, movie marathons, spontaneous road trips to the coast. That Thursday evening in late September, Nathan came home with his tie loosened and that easy smile that had first attracted Rebecca 8 years ago. He kissed her temple while she chopped vegetables for dinner, his hands sliding around her waist from behind. "I've got something a bit random," he said, his breath warm against her neck. "Vanessa and I are planning a camping trip this weekend with some folks from the office. Team building thing. You know how she's been trying to network more in the tech sector." Rebecca turned in his arms, searching his face. "Camping? Since when do either of you camp?" Nathan chuckled, pulling her closer. "Since the VP suggested it might be good for interdepartmental bonding. Come on, Beck. It's just 2 nights. We'll be back Sunday evening." Something flickered in Rebecca's chest. Not quite suspicion, but unease. Still, she pushed it down. This was Nathan. This was Vanessa. These were her people. That night, as they lay in bed, Nathan made love to her with an intensity that felt almost desperate. His fingers traced her skin like he was memorizing her, his whispers more urgent than usual. "You're everything," he breathed against her collarbone. "You know that, right?" Rebecca held him tighter, ignoring the small voice that wondered why it felt like goodbye. Friday morning, Nathan packed a duffel bag while Rebecca made coffee. Vanessa texted a selfie with a backpack and hiking boots, ready for the wilderness. "Miss you already, babe." Rebecca watched Nathan's car disappear down the street, then spent the afternoon trying to shake the heaviness in her chest. She texted both of them cheerful messages. Nathan sent back a thumbs up. Vanessa sent a photo of trees that could have been from anywhere. By Saturday night, her messages went unanswered. Both their phones went straight to voicemail. And somewhere deep in Rebecca's gut, she knew everything was about to change. Sunday dragged on with excruciating slowness. Rebecca cleaned the apartment twice, went for a run, tried reading 3 different books. Every time her phone buzzed, her heart leaped, but it was never Nathan or Vanessa. By evening, 1-word replies finally came through. Nathan, bad signal. Home soon. Vanessa, exhausted. Talk tomorrow. When Nathan walked through the door at 9 p.m., he looked anything but exhausted from camping. His skin had that glow of someone who'd spent the weekend indoors. His clothes smelled like expensive detergent, not campfire smoke. And when Rebecca hugged him, searching for the familiar scent of the outdoors, all she caught was an unfamiliar perfume mixed with his cologne. "How was it?" she asked, studying his face. "Great. Tiring." Nathan kissed her quickly, then headed for the shower. "I'm wiped. Let's talk tomorrow, yeah?" He made love to her that night with the same desperate energy as before he left, but this time Rebecca couldn't ignore what it felt like, guilt disguised as passion. His hands shook slightly as they moved over her body. He kept his eyes closed, even when she whispered his name. Monday morning brought the first real crack. Rebecca arrived at Meridian Technologies, where she worked in the legal compliance department, and overheard 2 junior analysts gossiping by the coffee machine. "Did you hear Nathan Hayes and Vanessa Park both called in sick Thursday and Friday? Same days? That's suspicious." Jamie in accounting said his corporate card got flagged for a hotel charge, somewhere up the coast. Rebecca's coffee cup trembled in her hand. She walked away before they could see her face, her mind racing. Sick leave. Not camping. A hotel. She sat at her desk, staring at her computer screen without seeing it. Every instinct screamed to call Nathan, to confront him, to demand the truth. But something stopped her, a calculated coldness she didn't know she possessed. If this was what she thought it was, confrontation would only lead to lies, gaslighting, manipulation. Nathan was charming enough to talk his way out of anything. Vanessa knew exactly which emotional buttons to push. No, if they'd betrayed her, she needed proof. She needed them to face consequences they couldn't charm their way out of. Rebecca opened her company email and navigated to the HR portal. Meridian Technologies had strict policies about fraudulent leave requests and misuse of company resources. The ethics hotline allowed anonymous reporting. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. This would blow up their lives. But they'd already blown up hers, hadn't they? She began typing. I have reason to believe 2 employees submitted false sick leave claims and misused company travel funds. Nathan Hayes and Vanessa Park both claimed illness on September 21st to 22nd, but were allegedly seen together at a resort hotel. Request investigation into travel expense reports and leave documentation. She hit submit before she could second-guess herself. That evening, Nathan came home with Thai takeout and acted perfectly normal. He asked about her day, laughed at her stories, pulled her onto the couch to watch their favorite show. His hand rested on her thigh, casual and possessive. Rebecca smiled and played along, even as ice formed around her heart. The next morning, Rebecca received a confidential email from HR's investigation division. They were taking her report seriously and had begun a preliminary review. They requested she keep the matter confidential to preserve investigation integrity. She watched Nathan at breakfast, spreading jam on toast, completely oblivious. Part of her wanted to scream. Part of her wanted to hear him confess. But the strongest part wanted to see him realize he couldn't lie his way out of what was coming. Over the next week, Rebecca became a master of pretense. She laughed at Nathan's jokes, let him hold her at night, even initiated intimacy once, a test to see if guilt would show on his face. It did, for just a moment, before he buried it under kisses and whispered declarations of love. Vanessa texted constantly, oblivious. Lunch this week. I miss your face. Rebecca made excuses, claiming work was overwhelming. Meanwhile, HR's investigation progressed with quiet efficiency. Rebecca knew from her compliance work exactly how these things unfolded. They'd be pulling credit card statements, hotel security footage, phone location data, cross-referencing sick leave forms with actual medical documentation. On Thursday, she saw Nathan's boss, Gerald Martinez, walking toward the HR executive floor. His face was grim. That evening, Nathan came home distracted, checking his phone constantly. Everything okay? Rebecca asked innocently. Fine. Just work stuff. He barely touched his dinner. That night, he couldn't perform in bed, the first time in their entire relationship. He apologized, embarrassed, saying stress was getting to him. Rebecca stroked his hair and told him it was okay, all while knowing exactly what was eating at him. Friday brought the breakthrough. Rebecca received another confidential update. Investigation has uncovered substantial evidence of policy violations. Formal disciplinary proceedings will begin Monday. Thank you for your report. Attached were redacted copies of what they'd found. Hotel receipts from the Sapphire Coast Resort for a deluxe suite, September 20th to 23rd. Charges to Nathan's Corporate American Express, champagne, couple spa treatments, room service for 2. Security camera timestamps showing Nathan and Vanessa checking in together, his arm around her waist, her head on his shoulder. And photos. God, the photos someone had apparently posted on Instagram and then quickly deleted, but HR had recovered them. Nathan and Vanessa on a sunset beach, his lips on her neck. Vanessa in a hotel robe, Nathan's hand visible on her bare shoulder. Rebecca sat in her office bathroom stall and let herself cry for exactly 5 minutes. Then she washed her face, fixed her makeup, and called her lawyer. By Sunday evening, she had divorce papers drawn up and ready to sign. She'd moved half their savings to a separate account. She'd documented every asset, every shared account, every lie she could prove. Monday morning, she went to work early and waited. At 9:30 a.m., Rebecca watched through her office window as Nathan and Vanessa were separately escorted to the executive HR floor. Nathan looked confused, defensive. Vanessa looked pale. Rebecca's phone buzzed with a text from Nathan. What the hell is happening? HR just called me in. She didn't reply. By noon, word had spread through the office like wildfire. People whispered in clusters. Rebecca kept her head down, her face neutral, though her heart hammered against her ribs. At 2 p.m., her friend Jordan from accounting appeared at her desk. Oh my God, Beck. Did you hear? Nathan and Vanessa are being terminated. Something about fraud and misuse of company funds and a relationship that violated conflict of interest policies. Rebecca looked up, forcing surprise onto her face. What? Apparently, they lied about being sick and used a company card for a romantic getaway. HR found everything. They're being walked out right now. Rebecca's hands clenched under her desk. I can't believe it. But she could. She absolutely could. At 4 p.m., Nathan called her 17 times. She ignored everyone. Vanessa sent a dozen texts. Rebecca, please. I can explain. It's not what you think. Please talk to me. Rebecca turned off her phone. She left work at 5 and drove home slowly, her mind surprisingly calm. She'd cried all her tears. Now there was only the cold satisfaction of watching liars face consequences. Nathan's car was already in the parking garage when she arrived. She took a deep breath, grabbed her bag, and rode the elevator up. He was pacing when she walked in, still in his work clothes, his face a mask of panic and rage. Rebecca, thank God. The most insane thing happened today. HR accused me of. I know what they accused you of, Rebecca said quietly, setting her purse down. Because it's true. Nathan froze. What? The camping trip that wasn't camping. The sick leave you both took. The hotel at Sapphire Coast. The company card you used to pay for everything. She walked to their bedroom and emerged with the folder of divorce papers. I know all of it. The color drained from Nathan's face. How did you? Did you really think you'd get away with it? Rebecca placed the papers on the kitchen island between them. You used company resources to cheat on me, Nathan. You committed fraud. You lied to everyone. Rebecca, baby, please, he reached for her. She stepped back. Don't. It was a mistake. A stupid mistake. Vanessa, she came on to me, and I was weak, but it didn't mean anything. Rebecca laughed, bitter and sharp. You planned it. You coordinated sick leave. You booked a deluxe suite. You bought champagne and got couples massages. That's not a mistake, Nathan. That's a choice. Nathan's face crumbled. He sank onto the couch, head in his hands. How did HR find out? Rebecca stood over him, arms crossed. Does it matter? Did you report us? He looked up, and for the first time she saw real fear in his eyes. She said nothing, and that was answer enough. Jesus Christ, Rebecca. I lost my job. Vanessa lost hers. They're talking about legal action for the fraud charges. You destroyed our lives. No. Rebecca's voice was ice. You destroyed our life. I just made sure there were consequences. Nathan stood, desperation making him aggressive. 7 years, Beck. 7 years of marriage. And you went straight to nuclear option? You didn't even give me a chance to explain? Explain what? That you fell into her bed by accident? That you accidentally coordinated your leave? That you accidentally used company money to fund your affair? Rebecca's composure finally cracked. You made love to me the night before you left with her. You looked me in the eye and lied. You came home smelling like her perfume and lied again. It only happened that weekend. Don't. Rebecca held up a hand. I don't care if it was one weekend or 1 year. You chose her over me. Over us. Over everything we built. Silence filled the apartment. Outside, the city lights began to sparkle as dusk fell. Vanessa's been texting me, Nathan said quietly. Blaming me. Saying I ruined her life. That we should have been more careful. Should have been more careful, Rebecca repeated. Not shouldn't have done it. Just should have hidden it better. She shook her head. You two deserve each other. I love you, Nathan said. And he actually sounded like he meant it. I know I screwed up, but I love you. We can get through this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you need. I need you to sign the papers and be out by Friday. Nathan stared at her. You're serious. Completely. He looked around their apartment, their home, as if seeing it for the first time. Where will I go? I genuinely don't care. Maybe Vanessa has room on her couch. Oh wait, I heard through the grapevine she's moving back in with her parents in Nebraska. Guess her tech sector networking didn't work out. The cruelty in her own voice surprised Rebecca, but she didn't take it back. Nathan picked up the divorce papers with shaking hands. You planned this. The whole time. You knew. And you let me think everything was fine. You mean like you planned your little getaway? Like you let me think everything was fine while you were sleeping with my best friend. Rebecca moved to the door and held it open. You have until Friday to get your things. My lawyer will be in touch. Beck, don't call me that. You lost that right at the Sapphire Coast Resort. Nathan walked to the door, then turned back one last time. I really did love you. I still do. Rebecca met his eyes steadily. Then you should have thought about that before you went camping. She closed the door behind him and locked it. Then she walked to the window and watched Nathan's figure grow smaller as he crossed the parking lot. his shoulders hunched, his whole world collapsed. Her phone buzzed. A text from HR. Follow-up meeting scheduled for next week. Your assistance in this matter has been noted and appreciated. Rebecca set the phone down and poured herself a glass of wine. The apartment felt bigger now, emptier, but also cleaner somehow, like a wound that had been lanced and could finally heal. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. Nathan had signed without contest, probably because his lawyer warned him Rebecca had enough evidence to destroy him in court. Vanessa had moved to Nebraska and blocked Rebecca on everything. Rebecca heard through mutual friends that Nathan and Vanessa tried to make their relationship work after everything fell apart, but it lasted less than 6 weeks. Turned out, a relationship built on lies and betrayal wasn't much of a foundation. Rebecca eventually started dating again. She was more cautious now, slower to trust, but not broken. She'd learned that sometimes the truth doesn't come from tearful confrontations or screaming matches. Sometimes it comes from staying quiet, staying smart, and letting the right people investigate. And sometimes the best revenge isn't confrontation at all. It's simply letting someone face the natural consequences of their own choices.